regulatory agency that can deal with the schools, but at the county level, is on grading permits. That's where we have that authority, on grading permits. Ultimately, the decision to acquire land and develop a school rests with the Board of Trustees and the Hart Unified School District. And where a school district has made inquiries about land that is part of a larger master plan community or tract map, we have made county information available and staff readily accessible to school districts. And again, we have told the staff at the Department of Regional Planning and Department of Public Works to answer any questions that ever may be raised by any of the school districts to help them in their selection. On open space, the park, there is a open space that was dedicated in 2002 that has my name on it, but that was done by the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, not by the Board of Supervisors. And that was a 507-acre parcel. And what we're trying to do in working to connect that to the other regional park on the other side of the hill by the 118, so that we'll have one big, large master park in that area. The unique preserve also contains significant natural wildlife habitat, along with the Gavin Canyon riding and hiking trails, known as the Mountains to the Sea Trail. And the Gavin Canyon Trail is part of the Rim of the Valley Trail that begins in Ventura County and crosses into the Santa Clarita Valley. Ellesmere, when I was first elected, I remember all the demonstrations and the masks that this was going to be a toxic landfill, and many of you were there testifying and participating in that, and I'm very pleased that one of the accomplishments was to turn that into a park, not a landfill. And that's, I want to thank the community for their continued support in doing that. One of our recent acquisitions is the preservation of that 400 acres at Ellesmere, properly formally designated as the landfill. And we're working in partnership with the Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority and the City of Santa Clarita to require the remaining 800 acres, so that would be a 1,200-acre site. This additional acreage is critical to accommodating the wildlife movement and to establish a connection between our existing trail network in the Santa Clarita Valley and the Rim of the Valley network in the San Fernando Valley. And I'm pleased to announce that we've now committed $1 million toward the acquisition of the remaining 800 acres at Ellesmere Canyon. And that's a commitment that we have made, and we have the money in the bank that the governor can't take. Also working to finalize new open space, including 392 acres at Spring Canyon, 374 acres and a new turnkey 8.7, nearly 18-acre park at Tip Canyon, as well as 167 acres of open space at the Towson Canyon project, adjacent to the Sunset Point. And lastly, as the New Hall Ranch project emerges from bankruptcy, we will redouble our efforts to finalize the transfer of the High Country open space, an area of nearly 4,200 acres and larger than Griffith Park, that will become the largest recreational center in the county of Los Angeles. Cool. Now, a lot of you worked on the homeless shelters, and that comes up all the time. And also, Skid Row has the highest concentration of homeless. The solution is not forcing individuals into neighboring cities and communities, as suggested by downtown Los Angeles, but looking to profit from the areas with new higher property values. The real answer is to change state law so those who are mentally ill can receive the treatment that they need to get back on their feet and assimilated back into our communities. And our board has taken a position. We have supported legislation to do that. We have not been successful in the past. And I'm very pleased that our new supervisor, Mark Ridley Thomas, has made a commitment that he will also take this as a charge to attempt to change the thinking. Because I call them the American Criminal Liberties Union, the ACLU. They are the ones who have stopped this type of legislation in the past, because their position is these people deserve the right to make that determination. But again, these people are not dealing with the elevator going to the top floor.
Right. That's right.
And just as an infant cannot feed itself, or a child cannot drive a car, a mentally ill person many times is incapable of making decisions to protect themselves or protect themselves from danger or inflicting danger upon someone else. They do need that treatment. There was a Assemblywoman from Northern California, who is now Supervisor Helen Thompson, who led efforts at the state level to change the state law. We were not successful. We were able to get a couple more days on the hold for people with that. But at a public testimony hearing that she and I conducted at the Arboretum a few years ago, we had a gentleman come up and testify how he was mentally ill, and he lived under a freeway, and he was totally out of it and couldn't reason, but somehow one day he got medical help. And as a result, he was able to get back to his normal self. And as a result of that, he was able to reassume the position that he had held, his job. And his job was one of the top engineers at JPL that dealt with the Mars probe. Wow. These individuals have the ability if they have that help. And those who are addicted to drugs and alcohol, they need real rehabilitation, they need rehab. Another drink is not going to get them sober. And another fix is not going to make them responsible. They need to have substance abuse programs to get them on their feet. In March of 2006, relative to the Santa Clarita Emergency Winter Shelter Program, I had appointed several members from the Santa Clarita, including representatives from our town councils, the business community, social service providers, local residents, the city of Santa Clarita, and the county, to form, which was then the Santa Clarita Emergency Winter Shelter Task Force, to identify potential locations for emergency shelter. The task force, they met monthly from March to December, and they identified 3 suitable locations and ultimately recommended that emergency operation be established on a rotational basis the following 9 years to minimize the impact to any one community. And the county then purchased modular trailers which will be relocated in accordance with that rotational plan. The big picture, as I said, is changing the state mental health laws, but the city of Santa Clarita, the town councils in Santa Clarita, the community and the county did work together to have a site location identified, 3 of those, thank you, and having those rotated. And that is the way that the community addresses a very serious issue. Transportation, which is very important, I know. Since 2005, 2006, we have allocated nearly $100 billion for transportation projects in the Santa Clarita Valley. The I-5 SR Sacred 14 HOV connector, which is under construction, will provide a flyover connector between the HOV lanes on the 14 to the 5. This is fully funded. It's fully funded, and it is going to be completed in 2013. The I-5 truck lanes, HOV lanes to Santa Clarita, this project will connect both the lanes, both northbound and southbound between the 14 all the way to the county border. This project will cost over $2 billion. In initial estimates, it will require financial support from the MTA, Caltrans, the federal government, and public-private partnerships. First segment will be to construct 1 northbound and 2 southbound truck lanes on I-5 between 14 and Parker Road. The climbing lanes will remove slow climbing trucks over the Calbro grade between the 14 and the Lyons Avenue and improve speed, mobility, and safety for both cars and trucks on this section. Funding for this will be a partnership, as I said, between those agencies. Measure R, which was passed, includes $410 million for the construction of the entire project to the county line, which only a portion will be used for the first segment. The timing of these funds are being provided to the project was not written into it, Measure R, so the MTA will be involved in that decision. And that's one reason why I had supported, and I support Assemblyman Steve Knight introduced the legislation to add a member